movement. Okay, so let's start with loading a texture, which I think is the process or the task here that takes more time. I think it's harder than the camera, or just takes more time. There's some setup we have to do. So first thing is update shaders to sample colors from textures using UV coordinates. So let's work on the shaders first, because now the difference is here, if you look at our fragment shader, what we are doing right now is we are passing a color per vertex using this varying variable. We have the varying variable here, and we have this attribute a color, which is a vector 3 per vertex, and we just pass it through, right? And then we sample or we read the color from this variable. What I want to do is now have a texture and read the colors from the texture, because that's what essentially you're doing when you are applying a texture to an object. We are actually sampling colors from this texture element and applying to certain vertices. So let me show you how the shader would look like. So if you, what we need to do is essentially, let me uncomment let's work with the triangle first. So I'm gonna uncomment the cube. I wanna comment the cube, sorry. And have only the triangle, okay, because it's easier. So if you open our triangle class, we have six values per vertex. I want to add 2 more. I want to add U and V values for each vertex. And essentially these coordinates, I hope you have seen this in class already, but UVs are coordinates to sample colors from textures. So for example, each vertex here, in this case, this bottom left vertex is going to have one pair of values UV. This is going to have another pair UV, and this is going to have another pair UV. And what this is doing is we're going to use these values we're going to go on the texture and get exactly that position and sample that position from the texture, and then apply that color here. We're going to go do the same here with this vertex. We're going to get this coordinate and then go in the texture, find that position, get the color from that position, and put that color here. And the same here. But then all the other points or all the other pixels on this triangle are going to be automatically sampled using interpolation. Okay, so the fragment shader already interpolates for us all these values. So we only have to take care of 3 of all the vertices, basically. All the other ones in between are done automatically. This probably is going to get more clear as we implement this, and then we can play with these values to see what happens, right, in terms of texture. Okay, so to avoid bugs or to avoid problems, I'm going to just put some dummy values here from. I'm going to make 0, 0. Actually, let's think about this. We can do this already. Like, we know that this bottom left, okay, first of all, let me get a texture here. I want to get a simple texture and open it. Let me think. Where should I get this? Here maybe. Let me see. Okay, I have a texture here, and I think I have exactly the same texture that we're gonna use for the cube. Okay, so this is one texture we can use for this example. I'm gonna copy it to our project. So this is our project. I'm just copying the same file. Wait, this is not our project. This is too many directories. This is our project. I'm gonna make a folder here and call it images, and then I'm gonna drop that image in there. Okay. A quick note about this texture is that it is a squared texture. So I think the dimensions are, so both sides have the same, or all the sides have the same dimensions or same size. And this is important. We're going to see that this is, it's good to work with squared or textures that are squared, specifically textures that are, it's even better if your texture is, if the sizes of your textures are power of 2s. They don't have to be, but it is, you might get some artifacts if you don't work it this way. And we can talk more about that restriction later. That is not that we have to work with power of 2s, but you'll see that it's actually better if you do that. And so because of that, because it's better, I'm going to start with a texture that has power of 2 sizes. So I think in this case it's 256 to 56 or 512, 512. Let me see if I can get this number. Yeah, now this is 512 by 512, the dimension of this image. Okay. All right, I think we can get started. We have everything to start. So basically what I want to do, let me put this texture here and explain a bit of UV mapping. So what I want to do is, if I want to apply this texture on this triangle, and I want to have, let's say, the triangle perfectly here, if I want to like centered in this texture, what I want to do is I want to get this vertex and I want to put it here in the bottom left. I want this vertex and I want to put it here. And I want this vertex and I want to put this here. So basically we can think of, let me grab my, let's see if I can annotate this thing. I just give me a second. Okay, I think I don't have my tablet with me now, but let me see if, anyways, I can use my, let's see, where is it? Here, annotate, text. I can use text, I think. So what we want is, we want this value to be 0, 0, 0. We want this vertex to be, or sorry, we can think of the texture coordinate space as this space. So the coordinate space of the texture is this normalized coordinate space where the bottom left is 0, 0, and the top right is equals to 1, 1. So what we need to do is this process of that we call UV mapping, which is put also here 0, 0. So we are arbitrarily doing this, right? Because that's how you want the texture to look on the triangle. So I want to do this, and this would be 0.51. Okay. So if I give these values here to my vertices, I'm going to see the texture mapped very nicely on the triangle. And note that you can arbitrarily pick any pairs here for UVs, depending on how you want to apply your texture to your object. And different objects might have, imagine if you have a very complex 3D model, like full of triangles, and you want to apply, let's say you have a 3D character that is like a humanoid, and you have a texture for the face. So the way you want to apply the texture on this face is a very complicated set of mappings that normally we have software that can do that for us. For example, if you're working with Maya or any 3D modeling tools, they can do this. They do this mapping automatically for us. And you can use drag and drop like edit tools to do that. So you don't have to come up with these numbers. But for the sake of learning, it's very nice to do this mapping by hand. For example, with the simple triangles or cubes or common shapes. Okay, so all right. I hope that's clear. I'm sure James covered this in class as well, but for now, that's the numbers we need to put in our UVs here. So for example, this is our bottom left vertex, so we need to put 0, 0 here. And we already have 0, 0 in there. For our bottom right is this one, bottom right. We're gonna put here 1, 0. And for our centered or top vertex, we want to put for UV 0.5 and 1. Okay. Nice. So that's all you need to do in the shape itself. Now we can do UVs as well. We can even comment this. First 3 elements are XYZ. Second, or we can do like 0 to 2, 3 to 5 is RGB. And then 6, 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 and 7, that is its elements, is U and V. Okay, that's it.